Modestly sized brown bananas are commonly found in Desi households, but they're also sweet, and we're going to use that to our advantage. Hello everyone, welcome to Zama's Kitchen. In this week's episode, we're going to be turning this into something that everyone likes. Let's get started. First thing we're going to do is preheat the oven to 350 degrees. And let's introduce our ingredients. So we've got our atta here, which is whole wheat flour, brown sugar, golden brown it says, salt, honey, turmeric, Kirkland brand of course, some baking soda, this is just Arm & Hammer baking soda, some cardamom, 4 pods, about 4 or 5 brown bananas, and Kirkland brand organic virgin coconut oil. First thing we gotta do is peel the bananas. You can see the nice brownness in there. As you can see, not all brown bananas are small. Now we're just gonna smush these up. Now you can use a fork if you want, but I find that the job is best done by hand. You can sort of mash it down with a fist. You can see how it just flows out. It's pretty liquid, you can see that. We're gonna set this aside. Open up our brown sugar. And we're gonna take about half a cup, and we want to pack it down pretty well. This is our baking soda here. We're gonna do about 3/4 teaspoon, so 3 of these. 3/4 teaspoon of salt. 1, 2, 3. And we have our about 4 cardamom here. So we're just gonna grind those up with our mortar and pestle. Slap the bottom to get the bits out. I also like to add a little dash of turmeric. And then we take our whisk, sort of mix up the dry ingredients here. And then we're gonna take our Kirkland brand raw Oregon honey and take a 1/4 cup of that. That's about it. Set that aside, let it settle. I sort of pre-melted our coconut oil right here. I'm going to take about 8 tablespoons of that. Mix that up to make a nice paste. Add in our honey. Mix that in. We're going to add in the bananas. Sort of glop that in. Beat that in. So you can see the consistency is kind of a little bit better now. It's not as clumpy, and the sugar blend has mixed well with the bananas. I'm going to add 2 cups of whole wheat flour. Gonna slowly mix that in. This is where technique is really important. If you just sort of shove your whisk in, it's not gonna work. You kind of have to push it in from the sides so everything doesn't splash out. But at this point, when things are starting to come together, I'm gonna crack these 2 eggs and put them in. You can also substitute them with applesauce if you would like a vegan version. Oops. Okay, so I have a bundt pan right here. You can use a normal bread pan if you'd like, but this makes it a little bit more fancy. Around 3 teaspoons of coconut oil, just lube this up a little bit. Just spread it with your hands. And then I'm just going to spoon in our dough after giving a good whisk. I'm going to sort of pour it in. Spread it around as evenly as possible. Jiggle it a little bit. Let it sit for about 10 minutes, and then we'll come back and put it in the oven. This has been sitting here for about 10 minutes now, so we're just going to go ahead and pop this in the oven. Now if you have a convection fan on your oven, you can turn that on. It'll let the air circulate a little bit better inside the oven. And we're going to just leave that in there for about 50 minutes or so, and then we'll come back. Our bread has been in the oven for about 50 minutes, so we're going to take some aluminum foil, wrap it up, stick it back in for another 10 minutes. It's been about 10 minutes in the oven, so we're going to take that out. Take the tin foil off, and we're going to do the toothpick test. The outside looks pretty brown and well done, but we want to make sure that the inside has been cooked properly. So we take our toothpick, stick it in as far as it goes, pull it out, and it comes out clean. And so that's when we know that it's been baked properly. If it doesn't and pieces are sticking to it, then you can just pop it back in the oven for another 5 or 10 minutes until it's done. It's time to flip our bundt pan onto a plate to serve. So put it like so, and then carefully flip it over. And we should hear it sort of plop down. If not, you can give it a couple taps on the top. Then we remove our pan. If you're very particular about having a flat bottom to your bread, you're welcome to chop off the rounded part. Personally, however, I think that having this full and rounded bottom is kind of cute, so I'm going to keep it. So I'm going to sort of cut out a little piece. You can use a serrated knife, a bread knife if you have one. So finally we have a piece of our banana bread here. I'm going to try it out. Initial impressions, I think that the inside has the right amount of moisture, the crust is not too soft or too hard, it's just right, and the cardamom is really the key ingredient in making this taste really great. This brings us to the end of this video. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them below. And don't forget to follow me on Instagram at zamas_kitchen, and I will see you next time.